Good morning. My name is Jonah Eller-Isaacs. I am your religious education coordinator, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to worship. If you are watching on Webinar Jam, as we progress through the service, you will see blue buttons for our With You Worship portal, for the offering, and for joys and concerns. If you are watching the service recording on YouTube, you will find our With You Worship portal on our website at firstuunash.org. In either place, when you click the With You Worship portal button, you will find an order of service, copies of the hymns, information about making an offering, and the submission form for joys and concerns. Ordinarily, joys and concerns are not live streamed, but while we are online only, we will share joys and concerns if those who have sent them give permission on the form. Joys and concerns submitted after the middle of the live stream service will be shared with permission during next Sunday's service, and all joys and concerns will be shared as usual with our lay ministers. During the offering, if you would like to mail a check to the church, please write in the memo line how you would like your donation to be used. If you want it to be credited to your pledge, please write pledge. If you write Sunday offering, it will go to our Share the Plate partner. There are many announcements posted on our website, which I hope you will read, and I've been asked to highlight these. Our lead and assistant ministers are each offering an open office hour on Zoom every week. You can drop in to visit with Gail on Wednesdays between noon and 1 p.m. or with Denise on Thursdays from 5 to 6 p.m. You can find more information on our website or Facebook page. Today's worship is specifically for all ages, so we will not host our regular multi-generational Zoom activity following the service. This family-friendly gathering will return next Sunday, May 3rd at 10:30. Now, please join us in celebrating Flower Communion.
Good morning. My name is Jaie Tiefenbrunn, and I am very pleased to be your Director of Music Ministries. Our music team this morning includes Holling Smith-Borne on piano, Jaden Smith-Borne on fiddle, and Karina Daza will be joining us singing and leading our middle hymn with accompanying herself on guitar. I'd like to invite you to prepare your body for singing this morning as we join in Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers, the Flower Carol, the tune you might recognize as Good King Wenceslas, but its original form is a spring carol. Spring has now unwrapped the flowers. Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers toward the light is striving. Gone the iron touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, no makeup for lost time. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now be stirring green and strong, finding growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing, flowers make glee among the hills, set the meadows dancing. I'd like to invite you to take a breath and connect your hearts with all of those worshiping with us online this morning.
Our chalice lighting is George Beach. In the mystery of life about us, there is light. It gives us a place to be, to grow, to rejoice together. It opens the pathways to love. In this place of friendship, there is freedom. Let the light we kindle go before us, strong in hope, wide in goodwill, inviting the day to come.
Good morning. Our call to worship today is All of Us Are Beautiful by Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches, some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell, and all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. Welcome to Flower Communion. I have for you today a traditional wisdom story. Talia's face was like a complicated map full of ridges and wrinkles. Her hair was long and steel gray, and she wore it up in braids the same way she had done all of her life. Her back was bent over, and when she walked, she shuffled. Still, she had a twinkle in her eye, and she always had a kind word for her neighbors, her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. She spent most of her days in her rocking chair, looking out over her garden. If she had a visitor, she'd share memories of the good old days. When she was alone, she'd remember to herself. She really loved those stories. Now and then, she'd hum a little, wiggle her fingers. It was all good. Now, it was during one of those mornings alone that Talia surprised herself by coming up with an ambitious decision. She made a phone call. A few hours later, when the doorbell rang, the delivery man was patient while she slowly shuffled her way to the door. She directed him to carry the very tall, skinny parcel he had brought to a bare corner of her garden. He kindly helped her find the garden spade and pull a lawn chair over. And then she paid him and waved him off. Now slowly, very, very slowly, she dug a big hole in the ground. It was hard work. Now and then she'd sit on the lawn chair to take a break, but when she got back up several times, until eventually she had done it, the hole was just the right size. Now slowly, very slowly, she shuffled and rotated the bottom of the tall, skinny parcel into the hole. Kerplunk! And she sat back down to inspect it, and she decided it was good. Slowly, very slowly, she began to push the dirt back into the hole all around the bottom of the parcel. And that was hard work too. So over and over again, when she got tired, she sat down on her lawn chair to take a break. Then she got back up, and finally she was finished. She unwrapped the tall, skinny parcel, and there it was. You've probably guessed, a beautiful sapling tree. And she sat down once again to admire it. So ends the first part of our story.
It looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Jonah's feed. So let me see if I can help out with that while he resets his room. Eek. As Unitarian Universalists, our spiritual paths vary, but in this congregation, we have made a covenant together. We affirm our interdependence, celebrate our differences, and work for justice. We are a welcoming congregation, and we deepen our relationships as we serve our congregation's mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values in the broader world, guided by reason and compassion. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors worshiping with us this morning. If you're seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you may find it here. All are welcome to attend our services, and people become members of this congregation by signing the membership book and supporting the church with their time and finances. If you're considering joining the church, please contact Reverend Denise Gyauch, our Assistant Minister for Congregational Engagement. Her email address can be found in the staff directory under Contact Us on the website. I can hear somebody's typing. Following the service, we hope everyone will enjoy at least one of our online opportunities for fellowship. For now, while we're meeting entirely online, there are no friendly ushers to pass you the offering bowls, but our fabulous finance committee and communication folks have made sure that anyone at any time can access our online donation form at firstuunash.org. Again, if you're watching live with us, you can use the offering button on your screen to go to that form. If you're watching on YouTube, you can access the form from the homepage of our website or via the offering section in our With You Worship portal. If you'd like to mail the check to the church, please write in the memo line how you'd like your donation to be used. If you want it to be credited to your pledge, please write pledge. If you write Sunday offering, we will share that with our Share the Plate partner. Ordinarily, we share a portion of that gift with our partners, but because we are online, we are donating 100% of the Sunday offering to our designated partner. For April, this is the last week to gift to NOAH, Nashville Organized for Action and Hope. Our congregation's annual budget includes a part of our annual organizational dues to NOAH, but the balance of our dues are raised during this month's collections. In this season of virtual offering bowls, we are especially grateful for the steady generosity that allows us, both within and beyond the congregation, to continue creating community, nurturing spiritual growth, and acting on our values.
And now I invite you to take a deep breath. Settle into the sacred space that you have created just by being where you are right now. And as you breathe in and feel your body settle into it where it is, I invite you to look back over the moments, the hours, the days that have brought you here to this moment, gathered with this sacred community. And as you do that, you may be aware of certain joys or sorrows, concerns, and worries that you bring to this moment that are held by this community gathered together. And it may be that you have a profound joy or concern that you would like to share with this community. If so, you are invited to use the Joys and Concerns form that you can find through the With You Worship portal on our website. And we have a musical interlude right now so that you can take a few minutes to settle in and reflect, be with yourself, and fill out that form or contribute to our offering as you wish. Now, let us listen. So Christopher Cotton has sent in both a concern and a joy. He says, sad that the schools are closed, but my ears are blessed that it means Jaden is home and can play with Holling. My kids danced to the jig. Evelyn Cotton has sent in a concern. She says, I never thought I'd say this, but I miss school. David Dickinson and Ann Morse have shared a joy. They are delighted by the arrival of Josephine Kelly Rasiska Dickinson in Brooklyn. In the midst of the pandemic, this wonderful event took place in the family's Brooklyn apartment. All are doing famously. We're so glad. The Nine family is happy to be sitting here with everyone this morning, and they're placing a stone for the Precious Price family, Lex, Tamara, and Maya. We miss being with all of you. Dan and Kathy Hiller have sent in a concern. Dan's mother, Phyllis, broke her leg recently and had surgery at Vanderbilt. She is currently in rehab, and we will be sending healing thoughts and prayers her way. And finally, Lisa Anderson has sent concern for a friend who lost her father recently and cannot be with her family, and for another friend whose mother is in ICU. We will send healing thoughts, comforting thoughts that way to those friends as well. And holding these and all the very many joys and concerns, for we know there are so many among us and in the world around us, in our hearts. So many things as yet unspoken. Sitting where we are, breathing together with each other in this gathered community, let us lift our spirits and our hearts together in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, we are mindful of the very, very many different ways we are all experiencing this very strange time. And we are aware that we are all together with our shared humanity, with our shared life that moves through us and through the other creatures and beings and the very waters and rocks and air of our planet. We pray especially today for those who are in positions of making decisions that have impact for so many people and for the planet itself. May they be guided always toward the decisions that move in the direction of more love, more justice, more health and well-being for all that is. Mindful of our very small but very real part in that all that is, our connection to everything. May we use this time together to comfort each other, to be with each other and feel strengthened by the connections among us, so that we too may be part of the life and the blooming that is living and growing and struggling to manifest in all that is. May our time together spring forth into flowers this spring. Blessed be, and amen.
Talia was sitting there. It had taken all day to plant her tree, and she was sitting there in the chair, still admiring it, when her neighbor arrived home and she poked her head over the fence. She looked alarmed. She said, Talia, be careful. What are you doing? Planting a tree? Ridiculous. Someone your age? Oh, is it an almond tree? Well, it won't produce almonds for years. Well, Talia just laughed as she pointed at a very old tree in the opposite corner of her garden. Now, some of its branches were broken off, others were bent with age. Most of them were bare, even though it was the middle of spring. And she said, I'm like that old almond tree. My great-grandmother planted it. I loved to climb it when I was a little girl. Its branches were broad and strong. I felt safe there. And then, when I became a young woman, I picked some of its delicate pink blossoms and I decorated my hair with them. I think that's how my husband came to notice me. Well, the neighbor started to smile, and as usual, there was no stopping Talia or her story. She said, when I was a mother, I picked almonds, roasted them to perfection, and served them to my family. When I was a grandmother, I rested in the shade of the almond tree. Now, I am a great-grandmother. Talia was looking very dreamy as she continued. I have lots of time on my hands. I sit and remember as I look out my window. Mostly, I'm happy with my life, but a little while ago, as I sat looking out into my garden, I realized that I had never planted a tree. Never. It just didn't seem right. I have great-grandchildren. Great-grandchildren, said the neighbor. Yes, they need an almond tree. Of course, laughed the neighbor as she pledged to herself to do something for her great-grandchildren too, even though she didn't yet have any. I wonder what that will be. Perhaps she will also plant a tree. And as for Talia, after planting the tree, she returned to her rocking chair to look out her window, and she smiled. And so ends our story.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina con el cara, 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 cara. Los polluelos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
So when I started thinking about this morning, I went looking for a quote that I have known, or thought I did, and loved for a long time. The greatest act of faith is planting a tree. I couldn't find those exact words, nor was it clear who said it. Maybe it sounds familiar to you. Maybe it's just such a well-known wisdom that it lives in our bones. I don't know, other than to say that I still love it. So that's what I thought of when I read Talia's story, because it too has no known author. It's just what we call a traditional wisdom tale. In storytelling, that means that someone must have been the first to tell it, but it now exists in many parts of the world in different cultures, from different times, and it's almost like it's always been there. It belongs to all of us now. The tradition of storytelling tells us that stories are gifts. It asks us to attribute them when we can, but to take them and make them our own. It's like if I admire a dress that a friend has, and then from a place of great generosity, she gives it to me. But in order to wear it, I have to let it out a little in the waist, and maybe I want to hem it a bit too. Then it fits me, and my friend smiles from ear to ear when she sees me. Whenever someone compliments the dress, I love telling them about that dear friend who gave it to me. And later, when another friend admires the dress and I recall that generosity that brought it to me, I give it to her. She will have to shorten the sleeves and take the waist back in. Then it will be hers, and I will smile ear to ear when I see her in it. So how does Talia's story fit me? That's easy. I have been here 15 years now, long enough to see some of those I taught in Sunday school graduate college and begin their incredible adult lives. You know that they're already changing the world for the better, don't you? That's a huge blessing, one that many people who work with children and youth for just a short time, a year, a summer, don't get. I'm very much aware of how fortunate I am. Still, there are those who move away or who stop coming to church who are now unknown to me. And I can be sad about that, which I sometimes am, or I can trust that with some of them, I may have made a small difference in their lives. They certainly made a difference in mine. And Talia plants her almond tree, knowing that even though she won't see it bear almonds, her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will. If there's such a thing as immortality, that's it. So today is our annual celebration of Flower Communion. It's a time when we bring our flowers to church to add them to a great, big, beautiful bouquet that represents all of us, our own beloved community. But these are coronavirus times, and we can't do that. We can't be together in our sanctuary to see all the individual flowers become that one bountiful bouquet. We can't go out to the columbarium to stand with those who came before us while we return the flowers to the land. We can't, as we have for so many years, do flower communion in the same way. But it is still the same story. We have to change it a bit this year so it fits. And at the same time, we can have faith, we can trust that we'll come back together for more flower communions, even if we can't see that right now. When this pandemic is over, will things return to the way they were? Will it be different? Different how? Will the world still fit? Will things be okay? Is okay enough? In my somewhat socialist heart, I carry an image of a beautifully set table, fine linens and beautiful china, shining silverware, crystal glassware. It's waiting for us all to come bearing our gifts. But that does mean all of us. We are all needed. And there's always at least one empty chair waiting for that person we don't yet know who is already on their way. And then when we are all at the table, then we have enough. And enough is a state of abundance. I'm thinking that the world will fit, that it will be enough. I'm putting a whole lot of faith into believing that it will. It's like this beautiful iris, the first of the season. And a dear friend gave it to me yesterday, especially for this morning. And here we have the stalk that it fell off of, which still has 3 buds. So there are more beautiful iris yet to come. And that gives me a great deal of comfort, even optimism. And I wish the same for all of you. There's another quote I love, and it's from, forgive me if I don't have the right pronunciation, Ian Huntington Bear. You are in the story of the world. You are the world coming to know itself. May you trust all you ever say or do belongs in the story of the world. Blessed be, may it be so.
I'd like to invite you to join me in singing hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. The link is in the chat or on our website. Join us as we sing. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking us to sound and sight, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all, we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sibling, cousin, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
We cannot gather our flowers into a bouquet today, but earlier this week we invited you to tell us how this community is important to you, and we have gathered your words that reflect this community that we call beloved, words that create a bouquet of people. As you watch this bouquet being created on your screen, I will be reading A Bouquet of People by Claire Feingold Thorin. Let us give thanks for a bouquet of people. We give thanks for children. Like tulips and iris, they multiply around us, making the world ever more filled with color, beauty, and new life. May we bless them as they replant themselves ever further from us, knowing that they need their own space to grow into. We give thanks for generous friends, as constant in bloom as echinacea, and whose gifts lift up our body and spirit. We give thanks for feisty friends, as indomitable as geraniums, and for continuous friends, who like bittersweet and ivy, hold on and never let go, and can never be gotten rid of. For crotchety friends, as prickly as rose bushes, their beauty a secret that is only discovered through careful gardening. For surprising friends, who at first glance seem dour and then blossom into joy as quickly as forsythia. For funny friends, silly as snapdragons, and serious friends, complex as chrysanthemums. For comfortable friends, their gentle presence as soothing as the sweet smell of lilacs. For stormy weather friends who stand by us in hard times, like lily of the valley that cannot be deterred by shade or shadow. For older friends, nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on fast as flocks. For friends as unpretentious as dogwood, as persistent as pachysandra, as steadfast as azalea, and who, like snowdrops, can be counted on to see you through the winter and remind you that spring always comes. For loving friends who wind around us like wisteria, embrace us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for forget-me-not friends, gone but never forgotten. Their beauty lives on in our memories and hearts. For this bouquet of people who brighten our lives, each in their own way, we give thanks.
Our consecration of the flowers and our beautiful word cloud. I give thanks to Jonah for creating that for us. So our consecration is from Norbert Chopek. It's from reading number 724 in the Gray Hymnal, adapted just a bit. And Chopek was the original creator of the flower communion. Infinite Spirit of life, we bless this bouquet that shows us the beauty and fulfillment that we can find when we join together in community. May it remind us, amid our different experiences and gifts, to be one in longing and affection and reverence to all that supports the renewal and repair of life, justice, and love. May it also remind us to enjoy each other and all of nature as we share our concerns and sorrows, our work and our joy with one another. May we cherish friendship as one of those most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do the sacred work of this world. Blessed be.
In just a moment, I am going to take this single blossom, which is all I could find in my yard that survived the rain and the wind. I will take it out to our columbarium. If you will, imagine that this is the same flower communion we have celebrated for many years, the same flower communion that we will celebrate again. In your mind's eye, see the flowers that we spread out in a sacred spiral, celebrating and honoring the bonds of community that hold us across time and space, that this year span both miles and generations. Today, we need to create that spiral in our imaginations. But here are some pictures of blooming things on the church campus this spring to remind you of the center of that spiral. These words were written by our lead minister, Gail Seavey, for our Flower Communion celebration. Let it go and let it grow. Let us let go of these flowers so that they may nurture the soil beneath them. Let us let go of these seeds so that they may beautify surprising and unexpected corners of our lives. A friendship, a family, a garden, an herb fair, a beloved church community, a generous spirituality, a mature faith, a just and reasonable state, a thriving earth. Let us covenant to care for this earth and each other, and by co-creating with the earth, all of its sentient beings, and with one another, a world where all can grow to full flower. And by celebrating the diverse beauties of this precious web of life of which we are a part. For this earth is blessed, for we are blessed, and our blessings are one.
The words for our Chalice Extinguishing, written by Elizabeth Sell Jones, can be found at the bottom of the order of service. Please join with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction is Blessed by Our Connections by Susan Carlson. We leave blessed by our connections to one another, to the spirit of life. Walk lightly that you see the life that is below your feet. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air. Feel the joy of the breath in your lungs and the fire in your heart. Live to love and be a blessing on this earth. Our service is over. May our service to each other and to this world begin again, renewed.